How you doing, all your flyboard enthusiasts out there? There are two reasons why I decided to make this how-to flyboard video. One is because I teach a lot of lessons here in Boston, Massachusetts, and I need them to look at some content before they start taking classes with me, so this helps. And two is because I've been getting a lot of requests on YouTube for those who are trying to learn as well. With that said, I want to ask you to be patient because it's going to be a long video. And if you are a beginner or even an expert as well, I would love your criticism. I would love to hear afterwards your criticism. And if you can look at this video the whole entirety and give me your criticism later, it'll be great because I love to interact with you guys. And also your feedback helps me to make a better content. With that said, I've been surfing my whole life since a kid back in Brazil. I stopped surfing here in the United States. And also I pick up on the sport of wing foiling here in the United States. Wing foiling is a very hard sport. For me, out of the hydrofoil sports, I think it's the hardest one to learn, in my opinion. And e-foiling, flyboard, is the easiest one. Now, I will be using references from snowboarding, surfing, and hydrofoiling, and whatever, to give a comparison to how to use a e-foil. But make no mistake, e-foiling is its own sport with its own characteristics. So no matter how much I give an input in some other sport, you got to understand that it's e-foil, it is its own sport with its own characteristics and little tricks here and there. It doesn't mean that you have to learn and know the other sports. Because you can also learn how to hydrofoil or e-foil on e-foil as a beginner, all right? Now, let me give you first of all an opinion, a suggestion as what board for you to get. Board. If you are below 200 pounds and if you have some experience in any sport, especially water sport, and if you are not sharing that board with anybody, that board is just for you, I do suggest you to go straight to the pro board, because once you get on the foil, that board is obsolete. So you just need that flotation, that 90 liters or 60 liters flotation, just for your first 10 seconds, because once you are up on the foil, this smaller board is definitely going to be a better board for you. However, if you are a person who doesn't have that much mechanical skills, has no experience in any sport before, above 200 pounds, and you will be sharing this board with friends and family, I do suggest you to go with the bigger board. Now, talking about wings, regardless if you never foiled before, I do suggest you to start with 1100 wing, because that's easily exchangeable for a smaller wing. If you do have a little experience on foiling, definitely go for the flyer wing right away. But either case, if you're not experienced at all, either being above or below 200 pounds, you definitely should start with the 1100 wing. Now, to explain how I'm gonna break down this video, first of all, I'm gonna do a demo on dry land first, go through all the steps that I go through with my students, and then I'm gonna put this in practice in the water. So it's gonna be a long video. For that reason, I'll ask you to be patient. So let's start right now with putting in practice the little mechanics they're gonna go through on the dry location first, on the board, on the dry, and then we're gonna go to the water and put those points in practice, all right? So dry land right now. So this is where I usually bring people to have the lessons with me. I want to say one thing right away, that if you're gonna do this as a beginner, you definitely should wear a vest and a helmet. For the first timers, I definitely recommend you to stay there, okay? To use those things. And one more thing, I always use the shim 3, number 3 shim, for any person who will start with. I think 4 or 5, it gives you too much break, your board won't go as fast, and the 2 and 1, 1 and 2 is going to be too fast. And I think the number 3 shim is the best combination for any type of level person. So I recommend you to start at the shim number 3. Now, for you to understand this, I know it's going to sound boring, but you got to understand what a hydrofoil is. There are 3 axes on the hydrofoil, meaning pitch, which is up and down, which is controlled by moving forward, shifting weight forward and back. Don't take that in confusion with people that are saying online to put your weight always to the left. Yes, put pressure on your left, but your back leg is the most important one. We're gonna get to that later. So however, there is lift, which is controlled by forward and back, which is tilt now, the second axis, which is tilting your body to the left, tilting your body to the left, to the right, and depending what foot position you have, regular or goofy. You're gonna find that we're gonna talk about that later as well. So when you're leaning to your heels, heel side, you're gonna go left. When you're gonna bank left, and if you lean to your right, which is a toe side, in my case, that will be your toe side, you're gonna bank to the right. One thing very important over here, the mistake that people do, everyone, they are stronger leaning on your heel side. Either if it's here or here. Everybody's stronger on the heel side. Everybody's weaker on the toe side, meaning this way. It's very easy. It's very, your brain doesn't want to do that. And the mistake that people do is that when they lean to the toe side, meaning regular foot or goofy toe side, they tend to leave the weight on the back, on the heels. And what happens is, if you do that, the board's gonna come beneath of you. So whenever you're leaning to the toe side, you wanna put pressure on your toes and use your toes almost like a grip on the board, all right? 2 axes so far. And the third axis is pivoting or turning, okay? So we have lift, up and down, we have bank, left and right, and then finally now we have turn. And that axis is used by 3 ways. One, you look to where you want to go, and automatically your shoulder is going to turn and your hip is going to turn. Look to the right, and your board is going to start curving to the right. You can also do that by your shoulders and by your hip. The best way that I found, that I teach people, is actually that front leg that you have, that front knee. If you open that knee to the left, the board's gonna go to the left, either foot. If you bank, turn that knee to the right, your hip's gonna turn to the right, your board's gonna turn to the right. That's a little more when you get into turns, okay? But those are 3 axes that you have to master, and we're gonna get into that later. Before I get into the riding on the board, one mistake that I see people doing all the time, especially for the first timers, is that, of course, you're gonna learn how to use the controller. The big mistake people do is that once they press that figure trigger and they're going, they get speed, even if they're on their knee or standing up, the big mistake they do, every time they lose a little balance, they let the trigger go. Do not make that mistake. I know you're supposed to let your trigger go if you fall, but you're not falling yet. So if you are either on your knee or standing up, whatever position you are, if somebody loses the balance a little bit, the first thing they do is let the trigger go. It's a very normal instinct to do. Do not let the trigger go, because if you do that, the propeller is going to stop right away and you're going to be launched forward, or you're going to stop, brake, and you're going to go forward. So the biggest mistake that people do is to any problem that happens, they let the trigger go. Do not let the trigger go, because maybe that balance that you lost, you could actually recover it. You could recover that balance by holding on to the board, and then you can progress on getting away from that little hiccup. So never let the trigger go, except when you know that you fall in the water. Because every time that you lose balance, you let the trigger go, you're gonna fall. Now that we covered the axis of the board, we're gonna get into how to ride the board. Now, in most cases, I see people that between the gears, between 1, 2, and 3, is plenty of speed for them to get on plane. I don't spend that much time with my people laying down on the board. I teach them how to get on the knees right away. So if you're when you lay down on the board, I like to keep one hand on the front of the board and the chin, the chin, right below the pads. This is on the pro board, and even on a bigger board, keep your chin below, keep pressure in your front hand so the nose doesn't go up. Once you get the speed between 1, 2, or 3, make sure you don't get up before the board is planing. If the board has the nose up, and if you try to get on your knee, the board's gonna sink even more. Wait until you get plenty of speed, which is gonna be between 1, 2, usually a 3, that the board is not with the nose up. Once the board is leveled and trimmed, that's when you get up on your knee. So basically, put your hands on the side and bring to your knee at once. Once you're here, sit down on your knees. Now, Right away, wait until the board get plane again. Wait the board to stay on the plane. Do not let the nose go up. And the most important thing that you want to do here is to find out where your point of balance is. Very important for you to be very consistent to find out where your board or your point of balance is. Usually, as a point of reference, I use the handles or the deck, the lid, the battery lid, to know where your knees are. And usually, most cases, people are usually here. Make a memory over there. Make a picture memory exactly where your knee is, so that way it avoids you from always trying to figure out where the spot is. Once you nail the position, then we can start on trying to take off and lift on the foil. Once you have figured out where the sweet spot is, that point of balance is, the small things that you want to do now is either increase the speed until it's nice and planing. Once the board is planing, once again, that depends from person to person. It could be 3, 4, and I've seen people actually, because they're heavier, to go up to number 5 to start planing. So when they start planing, you can easily start shifting weight back, so the nose is gonna go up. And if you shift the nose forward, the nose is gonna go down. Try to do this consistently. Don't try to get up at once. Try only to bring the nose back and nose forward. You can usually use your hands as well to put your weight on. Don't try to get up here yet, because they're gonna be hard. I would say to stay here first and just control that pivot of going motion, of going forward and back. Now, if you see that you're having problems, that the board is planing and you're not going up on the foil, I teach people to do what I call the body pump. It's almost like a pumping on a foil. So put pressure on your weight and then bring your weight up slightly a little bit. What you're gonna do is create a little bit of lift of the board. So you're gonna take the weight of the board, it's gonna create lift, and then you're gonna take off on the foil right away. So if you see that you're going here, he's not taking off on the foil, either when you lean back and nothing happened, don't try to go up to the gear yet. Just basically what you do, you wanna kind of put pressure and bring your body up a little bit, as if you're almost jumping and the board's gonna come up. Now that you're comfortable of going up and down the foil, remember, take off, up and down, and stay on this for quite some time. Don't try to ride long rides on your knees. Just learn how to control the foil, the lift, and control the board first. And if you have to use your arms sideways too, as well, by all means, use your arms sideways. But from here now, we're gonna go into standing position. But before you get to that, you gotta find out what is your strongest stance. Like I said before, in some videos they tell you to keep the weight on your front leg. Yes, technically it is true, because that's what's gonna keep you with the nose down or up. However, your stronger leg, meaning your better balanced leg, should be the one on the back. That should be your balanced, stronger leg, not on the front, the one on the back. And the way you can figure that out, if you don't already know, usually surfers and skateboarders, and even snowboarders, they know what dominant leg they have. In my case, I'm regular. That's my back leg that will make all the minor controls. So this front leg only gives you lift and a little bit of turn. But the leg that makes all the small adjustments is the leg on the back. That is your stronger leg, the leg on the back. For you to figure it out, if you don't know what it is already, the best thing you can do, so the trick that I tell the people, stay on your 4, and then at once, jump with one leg in the front of you, one leg in the back. Don't think about it, just jump and get up. Usually your brain's gonna take over and put the back leg stronger on the back. Do that little trick yourself, and if you don't know what leg is stronger yet, that'll be the best way to find that out. Right? Now that you found out which leg is your dominant leg and which leg is not dominant leg, you're gonna have to figure out your stance now, where exactly stand. But before you do that, how to get out? I like to do this. I'm on my knees. I put my front hand, my left hand in the controller here. The first thing that I do, I put my back leg where exactly I know where my balance is. I already know, in my case, where it is. What's up, bud? I already know in my case where my back leg is. So the only thing I do, I take a look at it, know where it is, exact position where I know where it should be, and then I bring my front leg, and from here, I'm ready to get up. A lot of people like to do the opposite. A lot of people like to bring the front leg first, and then they bring the back leg. In my opinion, putting the front leg first, this is not your stronger leg. This is your weak leg. I like to put, as I say, my strong leg first. And I already know exactly on the board where it is. You're gonna have to go to that learning curve because your back leg is the one should be perfectly centered on the spot that you like to put as a center of balance. Now, once again, I'm down. I put my hand in the front, and sometimes I even grab the nose. I put my leg and I look at exactly where it is. And from here now, I can actually press on the board and bring my foot out. Okay, and I'm standing. Now from here, before I learn how to ride, one of the major important things you have to learn is not how to ride, it's how to fall. So the most important thing so you don't get hurt is how to fall. If you think you're gonna fall, 3 places where you wanna fall. Push usually away from the board to the left, push away to the board to the right, or push away from the board to the back. Try to never ever, try not to fall in front of the board. And that will happen if you let the trigger go. If you let the trigger go, it's gonna stop, you're gonna fall forward. But if you're falling in a high speed forward, what's gonna happen is you're gonna fall forward and the board's gonna take off and land on your back. It happened to me before, and luckily I had my PFD on. So learn how to fall to the either left of the board, back of the board, and right of the board. You don't have to push the board away too much from you. You can kind of jump slightly away. You don't have to push too much. But in case, if you fall forward, as you hit the water, call yourself into a ball and stay in the ball for 5 seconds or so until you think the board is over you. So before you learn how to ride it and stand up, learn how to fall. This most likely is not gonna happen when you're learning on your knee. So right now I have to learn how to do that, okay? Now talking about your stance. You do not want the board to be with nose too much up high. And of course you don't want nose to be too low. And as I said before, going back to this, people think that the weight should be here. And I see a lot of people riding like this. And this is a very, I can't even do it. It's a very uncomfortable look, and you're gonna get very tired this way. Your weight should not be on the front of the leg, neither the weight should be on the top of your back leg. Your weight should be right, all due respect, below your crotch. Yes, your dominant leg should be the back one, but your weight should be centered towards the middle of your chest, below your crotch on the board. Because from here now, I can easily lean back and I can easily forward. And all the small micro adjustments, it will be done by my right leg. That's the dominant leg. That's the one that's gonna take control of every curve, even tilting forward. That front leg, as I said, is usually just to make you go forward and to bank left and right when you need it. But all the minor control is gonna be done by your right leg. From here now, assuming that you got the right position, I'm gonna get into that later about where to put your foot on the board as I'm in the water. From here now, when you got used to the right position, once again, we're going back to the same principle as you were when you're doing kneeling down. You're not gonna try to get up on the foil right away. You're gonna keep your legs bent, chest facing forward, always looking forward, arms slightly apart. Increase the speed, 3, 4, or 5, whatever it is, and you're gonna feel that the board is planing. Once you feel the board is planing, you slowly put the weight back on the left, the right leg, on the back leg, and let go the pressure of your left leg or your front leg, and you're slowly gonna feel the boards coming up. As soon as you feel that, right away, shift the weight forward again. And you wanna do this slowly. Don't try to do anything fast. And the longer you do this, the more often you do this, you're gonna realize you can glide for long distances. Now, there's a point in time that you're gonna realize that you'll be taking off for a longer period of time. And bring the board down. And there will be times too, this is a little more advanced, that you're gonna feel that the board doesn't want to come up. The board is level, it's planing, but does not want to come up. No matter how much you lean, you don't think it's going back. And now we're going back to exactly the same pump action that I mentioned before. So if you feel the board is about to take off and you can't take off, basically what you want to do is bring the weight down and slightly give a jump, but don't jump. What's going to happen is, once again, you're going to create the board to become very light and it's going to really take off. But don't do that too fast because you're going to lose control. So it's basically putting pressure on the board and then give it a little lift and your board's going to go up. And from here now, of course, gonna get into turn. If you're already, this is already more for experienced. On your first lesson, first day of flying, most likely you won't be able to turn that much. But if you are, by all means, let's get into that right now. The best way to turn is always look to where you wanna go. If you wanna turn to the right, look to the right and slowly let your body follow it. And you're gonna realize that the board is gonna follow too. Do not look down, because once you look down, you're gonna lose balance. Look to where you're going, either right or left. One thing too, as I said, your shoulders, you can bank your shoulders right and left, you're gonna turn. But in my opinion, the best one is, if I use my knees, I can look forward, bend my knee to the right, and slowly the board's gonna go to the right, and I can keep on track forward. Same thing to the left, I can just open my knee to the left, and the board's gonna turn left, and I can still keep looking forward. So the front knee plays also a big role on turning. Now don't forget that your back leg, in my case the right, is always making micro adjustments, and your weight should be centered between both of your legs. Now we're gonna get this in the water right now and put everything that I say in practice, but to make a long, compact, small thing, I suggest you to use your shim on number 3. Then learn how to ride on your knee first, glide on your knee, spend time on your knee. Major important thing to find a sweet spot on the board. Second, learn how to get up on the board using your stronger leg on the back first. Hands on the board, slide back leg first, then you bring the front leg and you stand up and go through the same process you did on your knee. Small takeoffs, bring it down. Small takeoffs, bring it down. If you're gonna fall always towards left or right and back of the board. In case if you fall forward, if you hit the water, call yourself up on the ball. And the most important thing when you're learning, do not let the trigger go. If you lose balance, keep that finger on, recover, and keep on going. Because every time that you lose balance, you let the trigger go, you're really gonna fall. So let's get in the water right now and put all that to practice. So I'm in the water right now, and I'm using the 800 flyer wing, So the speeds over here is gonna be different for what would be in a beginner wing. So anyhow, and I hope that the wind doesn't impair me from talking to you guys. So starting right now, take off on the knee, and holding the front of the board, keep my weight to the front. And as you can see right now, my nose is way up in the sky. Speed number 2, keep that pressure on the front of the board. 3, nice and slowly, keep that pressure on the front of the board. I shouldn't get up yet because you can see the board is still way too up high with the nose. And finally, starting to get a little more speed, there you go. The board now starts finally to plane a little bit. Nose is still up high. There we go. The board is starting to plane. And I can feel that the nose is going down. From here now, I can already knee. So when the nose is down, and I'm on my knee right now, and wait to the board to stay plane. Now, as I said, on the smaller wing, so my weight's a little more forward. From here, it's kind of a sweet spot right now. I can feel the board is nice and plane, and here now I can switch the weight back. I'm gonna feel a little bit lift. A little lift coming up, and lift coming down. So you're gonna go through this process now for quite some time. I might need one more gear over here. A little bit faster, putting the weight down. Putting the weight down. Once again, I'm gonna bring the weight back. I take off, I come down. So you want to do this for several times until you get used to this. Find a time that you're going forward and the board's it's not taking off. And that's how you do the pump. Press it down, lift, down again. Press it down, and lift, down again. Keep on pressing there, one more time. Down, down, lift. And from this point on, you can start now. Stand up on your knees. Now, once you stand up on your knees, same principle. Lean back, lean forward, lean back, lean forward. That's your second step. One more time. Let's use that pump action now. Press down and pump. Down. Once again, that pump again. Let's press down and pump, up. Try that again. Pump it and back. And go forward. Keep on practicing that. Next time now, it's gonna be standing up. Now, one thing as I said, I know exactly where my knee is in relation to the board. So I know that this is my sweet spot. And from here, I can just do whatever I want. I can ride it and can control the board. Whoa. Don't let the trigger go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't let the trigger go. Stay forward. There we go. A lot of people let the trigger go at that time right there and they will fall forward. So let's go for step 2 now. Let's try to stand up. Standing up now. Brace my hand forward. I'm looking back. Where am I gonna put my leg? Which for me, I know it's right in that H over there. My toe is on, and my front leg now is gonna go up forward. Which for me, my back heel is right on that latch over there. My front toes is right on that H. And from here now, the only thing you gotta do is work on the speed. Once again, wait till the board is playing. And there we go, you can lift back. Bring it forward. That's all I want to do. Lift it back again. And forward. Always keep your arms nice and open and your knees bent. Now, of course, you want to do this on the days that the wind conditions are low and the water is nice and flat. Once you get in your stance, once again, keep your knees bent and arms open. And always practice that landing, touchdown, and up again. Landing, up again. I'm gonna go over again how to take off from the bottom up. And once again, you can do that little lift, and you're down. Now let's get into turn. Try to use your head first. Once you got the balance on the board and on a stable speed, the only thing you gotta do here, the easiest one, is to look to your right. Once you look to your right, your board wanna go to your right. If you're gonna go to the left, look to your left, and your board's gonna go to the left. You wanna push your hip a little bit. Now, I find the easiest way is actually to use your knee. So I'm gonna show that right now. Here's my front knee. I'm gonna turn my knee to the right. What's gonna happen? The board wants to go. I'm gonna bring to the middle. Now I'm gonna turn my knee to the left. The ball wants to turn. For me, that's the easiest way to turn. Once again, I'm gonna turn my knee to the right. Automatically, ball wants to go. I'm gonna turn my knee to the left. Automatically, the ball wants to go. And I'm always looking forward. Now, one thing to have in consideration here, every time that you turn, you will lose lift. And that's why when you turn, you want to put pressure on the back a little bit as you turn. And that's going to keep you stable. So every time that you turn to the left or right, turning right, put pressure on the back. Turning left, put pressure on the back. And from that point on, you can carve more and be more aggressive. Heel side, push, back. Toe side, push, weight back. And as you can see, I'm much more aggressive on my heel side. Once again, open heel and put weight on the back. Open heel, weight to the back. Whoa, and that's very sharp right there. And use your hands to counterbalance. Again, now I'm gonna go to the right, toe side. And this is not as aggressive because, as I said, most people are not very strong on the toe side. I'm gonna turn my heel to the knee to the right and put pressure on the back. I'm turned to the right. And one more thing to say over here. It's always good for you to go upwind. Upwind, you're gonna feel that you'll be stronger. Sideways to the wind will be worse. And downwind also not gonna be good. The best way to practice is going upwind, meaning the wind on your face. The wind to the sides is gonna make it very sketchy. And of course, the wind in the back is not gonna be as bad. But the best way to do would be going upwind. I'm gonna do it again the way that I get up on the foil nice and fast. Here I am, bring the nose down, planning, bring to the knee, get my foot in position, front foot, and find the front once, and up in the air. That's it. Now, the most important thing here, it is your stance. Once again, if you know exactly where to place your feet to get your best balance, the faster you get there, the better it is. Once again, I have my toe right there all the time on that H over there, the line. And my heels is always there, next to that little flange, the flange of the board. Because once you get the sweet spot, everything else becomes very easy to do. Be consistent and you'll be okay, all right? And be patient. Will take time. What's up, brother? Everybody loves the shit, man. I hope this was helpful. Get in the water and have fun. Be safe, people. Let me play with these guys. Take care, guys. Be good to each other. I hope this was helpful. And please leave your comments below. See ya.